Welcome everyone to the show. Thank you for tuning in today. This podcast is a space where you have real conversation, share powerful ideas, and explore stories that inspire youth and growth, knowledge, and positive change. Whether you're listening from home, work, or on the move, we are excited to have you with us. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's discussion. Now, before I share the topic on the screen for us to see, I just want us to listen to these statistics. Listen to this. Nearly 1 in 2 young people in Cameroon have sex before the age of 18. That is terrible. 1 in 2 young people in Cameroon have sex before the age of 18. It's not like they have sex at 18. Before the age of 18, it could be 6, it could be 7 years, it could be 10, it could be 15, it could be anything. But before the age of 18, 1 in every 2 girls you see. That is a very dreadful statistics. 1 in 5 teenage girls has already been pregnant. So if you see 5 girls, teenagers, they are already been pregnant. If they are not still pregnant, you know why. But the statistics say they are already been pregnant. Less than half use condoms. Up to 40% of cyber fraud networks involve young adults under the age of 30. Cyber crimes in Cameroon involve young adults less than 30. That is a very, very dreadful statistics. It continues. 5 out of 10 teenage boys are interested in internet fraud. 5 out of 10 boys are interested in internet fraud. They want to be scammers. That is what they are aspiring for. They like the scamming environment. They enjoy the life, and that is what they deeply want to be. Most of your students you send to school, right? 5 out of every 10 you see are very much interested in doing internet fraud. 7 out of 10 teenage girls are involved in paid sex. Yes, that's the statistics. If you think it's from UNICEF, I got the statistics from UNICEF, UNIAIDS, Interpol, and ECOWAS. You can go Google it, search it, and get it for yourself. These are written statistics out there. People have done research on this. It's disastrous. So joining me today to discuss this, it's a very powerful lady. Listen, a very powerful lady. I cannot even memorize who she is. I have to read it out. This lady is very powerful. Listen. She's in charge, or she developed a framework to support children, teenagers, and women by creating over 30 book clubs through peer-to-peer learning, open sessions, book tours, and so on. More than 40% increase in academics, critical thinking, and capacity building. That's her achievement. There's more. She founded a Date with Self network in 2020 with 2 persons, amounting to over 1,000 members as of 2024 internationally. Help youths to identify their purpose, wealth creation, and sponsors kids to school. They also have sponsorship program for kids to school. Fascinating. Orphanage outreaches, semi-annually. Drug abuse awareness, and personal development retreats by creating safe space for healing, counseling, and capacity building. This lady, she'll be here soon. Annually, since 2020, they have mentored 100 youths, amounting to over 600 youths through the BK mentorship program. Provide skills acquisition, support, and guidance for experienced mentors to mentees. Wow, this is huge. A speaker, trainer, and facilitator to over 500 platforms in Cameroon, on-site and online, with reach of at least 20,000 participants in total, like Winning Women Africa, WWA, Go Make Difference, Go Mad, Result Institute, First Ladies Network, Dreamers Tribe, Easter's Chambers Global, Change Makers Summit, Ye Cameroon, Abundant Life Ministries, etc. African countries like, she has been to African countries like Kigali for talks and mentorship in 2019, and Kenya, Firewell. Through her social media platform, she reached about 5,000 people monthly through many social media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Brenda Paul Mbua. Madam Brenda, welcome. Can you hear me, Madam Brenda? The mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Okay.
I can hear you 5 on 5. I do.
Okay. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you so much. I am so humble talking to you all this evening. Thank you.
Myself.
Doing good.
Myself.
Okay. Okay, good.
Now, what do you think about these statistics? Let me read it out again. Nearly 1 in 2 young people in Cameroon have sex before the age of 18.
Okay.
1 in 5 teenage girls has already been pregnant. Less than half use condoms, and up to 40% of cyber fraud network involve young adults under the age of 30. I'll read more, but what do you think?
I am not surprised because it's been a pandemic. It's a plague. It's a reality. These are just statistics, but it's sadder than the statistics even show it to be. I would just say that the youth, a man cannot live a life different from the way they see themselves. And it's a reflection of how our youths, see themselves. You cannot live a life separate from your mindset. So I'm not even surprised, because if you look at the mindset of the youths now, it's more deteriorating. It's more lower self-based. It's more wants. It's more, they don't want delayed gratification anymore. So yes, the statistics, it's real. It's true. It's a reality. It's real. Yeah.
Okay. What about this one, right? That 5 out of 10 teenage boys, let's go to the boys now. 5 out of 10 teenage boys are interested in internet fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, is it their fault? So who are we to blame for these particular statistics? 5 out of 10 teenage boys are interested in internet fraud.
There is no particular person to blame. We have a couple of factors, stakeholders into this, right? But I'll always begin with the individual. The truth is, digitalization, social media has made it in such a way now that we live in everybody's growth process. But what people fail to understand is what we see online is not the real, it's not the whole picture. It's not everything. So boys now, there is a pressure to want to live up to a certain kind of life, even if they at all costs. There is a dream that is being sold to the youths, and they are buying into that dream, thinking that all about life is pleasure. So they are ready to put in whatever it takes to achieve that kind of life. That's the sad reality. Are we to blame the youth alone? No, there is a platform. Everybody's benefiting of the platform, but a lot of people are not making the platform work to their advantage. Now, even taking it away from the platform, when you contextualize it, like in our environment, we now have those boys in our neighborhoods. So you don't even necessarily need to be on social media. We have those boys in our neighborhoods, in our quartiers, in our schools. Some of them are students living lives that, so it's a cankerworm that it's so deep. And all of this is just selling one thing, a get-rich scheme. That's why you now hear mantras and like, you only live once, get rich or die trying. Those are the things that are. Yes. So everybody has a role to play, but at the end of the day, it self-destructs, and it's the person, and that's the individual we talk about, where it's not about the end, it's about all those who, in the course of buying into these mantras, buying into these lifestyles, they are being destroyed in the process, because they go to whatever extent to live up this truth in quotes. It's because to them it's a truth. So yeah,
Exactly.
for the boys, it's real in schools, it's real in our neighborhoods, even in churches. It's real beyond social media. It's tangible. It's not a myth, it's a reality. So yeah.
Now, do you think our society is taking this social media like they are playing with social media or they're ignoring it? Don't you think, right, we're supposed to restructure our children's mind to understand the real purpose of social media? Let me go to an example because I was teaching in a school in Cameroon. Like most of the boys I taught, like just
Yeah.
observing from a distance, what they are
Mm-hmm.
interested in doing is this coming I'm talking about. A lot of
Yeah.
them, lower six, form five, and even upper
True.
six, of course, they're the same.
Yeah.
All they're interested in, let me leave school, buy my phone, and
Yeah.
start doing. Some of them are even doing the scamming in school. Of course, the
Yeah,
teachers
true.
will not be there all time to follow up and mentor,
Of
right?
course,
A,
of course, of
not
course.
really a bad child, but if a child is exposed to something, they can take advantage of that. So,
Yeah.
do you think we are not teaching these children enough about the
Mm.
use of social media? And do you think the government is almost like playing a laissez-faire role? Because in other countries, right, you are not having
Yes.
access to things except you reach a certain age. There is compulsory or mandatory parental control. So do you think our
Mhm.
government is like staying is just letting things be anyway? They should do whatever they want. Do you think that's what is happening?
To be very honest, it begins from the homes before we get to the government. Because when we talk about the government is you and I. It's the
Okay.
citizens in the nation, right? So we begin from the homes. The truth is, parenting is a modeling scheme. You cannot give what you don't have. A lot of parents themselves are not even conscious enough of what they are getting into. Like I was saying the other day in my youth meeting, I was saying that even the parents are struggling with addiction with social media. So a lot of
Okay.
parents have not gotten even to that place of understanding the dangers, especially long term, because it's so addictive and it's a well of everything. You don't even know what you're diving into. And then you know how the negative operates. A lot of them don't go there for the positive. It's much more in the negative. So a few things. First things, let's begin from the homes. Parents cannot give what they don't have. When the Bible talks about
Okay.
train up a child in the way they should go, is because the word of God is clear that you as a parent should first know what direction. If you don't know the direction to take, you cannot train a child on the direction that the child is supposed to take. Right? That's the
Yeah.
parent. So first, the environment from home, even it's not strict, it's not regulated, because strict in this our time, parenting is age based. There's the way you parent toddlers and parent teenagers, and the way you parent is different, right? So first, at the level of the homes, the parents are not knowledgeable enough of the effects, or even when they know, they ignore, or even when they know, they don't have that control or the necessary skill set to help these children. So the home already is faulty to that extent. Now, when we go now to environment, now talking about schools and all of that, some of these children have gotten certain devices that they still find themselves sneaking into schools with their mobile phones. So it's not like when the
Yes.
teacher is teaching, they are using the no, a lot of them use it during breaks. In schools, I know it's prohibited. Like most schools around, if they see you with a phone and something, they'll see. But these children, especially like the other day, I was taking the kids to school. I noticed some
Yes.
kids
Smart.
walking around the road with their mobile phones, but they don't use that in class, right? Now, concerning the government, that is what happens when leadership fails a society. All right. Because one of the reasons I don't like blaming the government most times is, at the end of the day, the government will always do what they can do. But when it comes to implementation and execution, it will be left to the individual, that is the youth, to decide, or worse still, their parents, their environment, their guardians, their siblings, because most times when we talk about parenting, we always limit it to the level of the mother and the father. No. You know how Africa is. We have that community for kind of, I can parent my neighbor's child, or like I can cater for them, I can love them enough to tell them that this thing is no, we have that holding hands approach towards raising our kids and everything. So yes, we are the government. We all have a role to play. We can do something, but the truth is, a lot of us undermine, or we underestimate the potency of how destructive this is.
Mm-hmm.
We think we take it for granted. I remember there was a particular incident I don't want to be very vocal about, where there is this man who his video was circulating of sleeping with several women. The first thing that came to my mind was, I'm just imagining if this thing falls on on a teenager's phone. It will fall on one teenager's phone, but imagine all his friends watching the video. They'll not watch it with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
You get the point. They'll watch it among their
Yeah.
peers, their schools. I was just like, oh no, this is how we underestimate, because people were sharing it to WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. You don't know why in these groups, these children, people are just sharing, and they will not go there to start researching. They would feed on these things, and it is much more difficult to unlearn something than to learn it. So I'll just
Talking
end by
about
saying,
sharing.
yes, people just
Okay, right
share.
on.
They just share, and then it's in every WhatsApp group, every Telegram platform. We underestimate so much the power of the subconscious mind.
Sure.
When something gets in here, no matter it's a seed. It's a matter of time. It will blossom. It will bear fruits, and you would see it. And that is what has been bearing fruits, and you're seeing it revealing and unveiling and unraveling itself countlessly in the society. So it's really pathetic. It's sad,
It means
but
it means
definitely,
there are a lot of bad examples out there. I
yeah,
see a lot
there is.
of bad examples out there for people to follow. So I will not really blame them, because you turn left, you see bad thing. You turn right, you see bad thing. I mean, what
Yeah,
is the example? And I also believe that good people who consider themselves good and righteous, they don't speak much. They don't say. They just sit quietly in their home,
exactly.
right? And they
Yes.
ignore the power of their voice to direct
Oh,
these
yeah,
children to move to the right path.
yeah,
Okay. Now,
yeah.
talking about sharing, right? What do you think
Mm.
going forward? What do you think we should do about sharing malicious data, right? Should it be banned?
Yeah.
Should it be in prison? What do you think we should do about that? Let's say
So
tomorrow I'm the mayor. Do you think it'd be a good thing? Do you think it'd
I
be a good
think
thing if I have some legislation I should ban if you share something that is inappropriate? Just you sharing, because that most countries do that. Just you sharing. Should we imprison you? What should we do to you? Because you are
that's
part
the
of the
way
problem.
forward. That's the way forward. Most definitely, that's the way forward, because regulation is very important. Anything that is too much is a bad thing, can be a problem, because when you look at the cost beyond the pleasure, right? There is a
Yeah.
kind of education that is going on. It's telling young boys or young girls this thing is okay, it's accurate, it's comfortable to do this kind of thing. I don't know if I'm making sense. So
Yes,
most
you are.
economies, most nations have to be looking forward, accepting those things. Even with working with such these social media platforms, I'm happy the way things are happening now. Pages are being taken down that promote some of these things, but at the same
Good.
time, we also know that there is an agenda in the sense that we discover that nudity sells more. So we cannot say that we are not cognizant of the fact that
Yes, the
this
richest
there
industry out there.
is the richest industry. So it's still business. So at every level, there is something we can do. Yes, the government can do those things and all, but we must go back to the basics. You cannot bounce a ball and complain how it bounced. We must get to a place of personal responsibility, taking it back to our homes, taking it back to our schools, educating our children, sex education, you know, abuse, drug abuse is real, showing them the consequences, talking to them about it, so that let us be the first models to our kids, to our cousins, our nephews, before the world trains them.
Yeah.
Right, because it's real. It's not about being a Christian. It's not about. We've seen children in the church who are a victim of these things. We've seen children of pastors who are a victim of this reality. So there is work to do, but we can definitely start from our homes, our neighborhoods, our kids. Because once our kids are educated, once our nephews and nieces are educated, that's we're already solving a problem. And that is how
Okay.
an agenda. It's like network marketing. An effect that is being felt. It may not be immediate, And like you said, I want to end with this. Once you have a voice that can bring change and you choose not to use that voice, you're part of the problem.
Good.
It's not enough to just see things going wrong and then you're just quiet about it. It doesn't help, right? So
Yeah.
we should start using our platforms. In a simple post on your WhatsApp can go a long way.
Excellent.
A simple talking in your women jangi group, women associations, and encouraging women and telling them the dangers of this thing. We had a women retreat that was last week Saturday, and I was talking about this. I was like, we are underestimating the influence of social media in our homes. Because beyond that, let's allow the youth alone. Look at married people. It's influencing the way people see marriage. It is influencing religion, everything, because there is a narrative that is being shoved down the throats of people. It's curated, and people are consuming it and seeing it to be the norm. Now, if you want to get married and you don't do a big engagement, it's like you're not serious. It's like you don't like the girl
That's
enough.
it.
So there is an education. There is an education that is going on. There is an agenda. So yes, we can do something. And please, if you're watching and you're listening, never you feel like your voice is too small to make a difference. The
Now
potency
you
of a mosquito. You see how small a mosquito is, right? Until you stick with
yes.
it in a dark room, then you understand. So don't limit yourself. Don't say, oh, I need a good camera, I need a podcast mic to begin and all. No, start where you are with
You're
what you have.
absolutely
That is
correct.
the journey to impact. That's the
That
journey
is an
to impact.
African thing. Yeah, it's an African
Yeah,
thing. And you mentioned something, right? They say a
yeah,
prayer a day keeps the devil away. So your
yeah,
voice is very important. Just say something, right? Make one post, motivational
yeah.
post, right? You don't know the life you're touching. I'm saying out of experience. There are certain
Mm-hmm.
things that for example, when I listen
Yeah,
to people who talk bad about God or about certain things, the way it strikes me,
yeah,
it strikes me with certain anger, right?
yeah,
That I'm like, what's happening? It almost like I'm trying to think, is this thing real? Let me investigate what this guy is saying. You see, that's the power of his voice or her voice, saying something that can
yeah,
almost change direction. Then I'll listen, take it to the other side. Someone who is doing good, like you say something, God bless you, you bring out good quotes and encourage people, right? You change somebody's
yeah.
life. Most
Exactly.
definitely, like it's a real thing. You must change, you will change people's life. People are out there waiting for this encouragement. And you cannot sit at home and you fold your arms and know God's time is the best, which God's time
Yeah.
is the best anyway. And then you
Mm.
don't do anything about it. You don't say anything about it. You don't encourage people. And then you are a good and righteous person. Nobody is feeling the impact of your righteousness. It is very bad in our society. I blame these good people, these people that are so righteous or claim to be so righteous. They are the ones because we have not done enough. We have
Yeah.
sincerely not done
Light
enough,
can
right?
never, darkness can never overcome light. I just
Exactly.
wanted
So
to
we are
throw.
not doing enough, and that's why darkness is approaching closer, and we all are experiencing it, and we are not happy, right?
Yeah.
Somebody
No.
told me something one time that, right, people want to be good, but sometimes they don't have a choice. They don't have that people to pull them up, right? And he
Yeah.
gave me one example that have you ever seen a prostitute, for example, right?
Mm.
Encouraging or sending the child for prostitution school. Some of them send their children to schools so that you should not be like them. That is just a
Exactly.
sign that they are not proud of what they are doing, but they don't have
Yeah.
a choice.
Yeah.
That's it. So
But
now,
another wait a second, please.
okay,
Another thing that is very important, and I still go back to the aspect of modeling a good parenting is we are supposed to be the first fruits of our character. A
good.
lot of us don't, our voice are not being pushed and heard is because we don't spend time investing in ourselves. I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video because you said a lot of things, but something the listeners need to take into consideration is our relationship stems from way back. We were classmates and we were benchmates, right?
Yes.
You can tell for a fact that when you see children that were well raised in their homes,
Mm-hmm.
they don't need banners. You could tell. So, in as much as we want to have an outreach, there must be an inreach. There must be
I
an
hear you.
inreach. Once the inside is good, is healthy, is nurturing, it's a natural consequence that others will benefit from it. Why did I give this example? Because when we were in lower seats, right? For those who
Yeah.
don't know, one of the things that was very common and heard of you was the fact that Gustav is well behaved. So this did not begin
Oh,
here.
really?
Not be the class prefect. You're the class prefect now. No,
Yes,
you're
I
the
know I
class
was a
prefect.
class prefect. I didn't know that that was well behaved. Please,
Hey,
somebody need to get that to my mother. That
so just cut
somebody
this
tell
part.
my mother that I was well
No,
behaved in school.
cut. No, honestly, cut this part and then you can send it to your mom. I'm very honest. We
Mhm.
could tell children among us who had this nurturing attitude, who were not, some people were bullies. Let me put it that way. You could tell
Yes.
the bullies, you could tell, so it begins from somewhere. In as much as we want to constantly reach out to others, we should try from time to time to reach inside. There is no outreach without an inreach. Once you invest, there are some things that your character will minister to people more than what you say. There are some
Perfect.
things that once there is an overflow of your character, you're loving, you're kind. Love is a language. It cuts across religion. Kindness, people in your environment will start wanting to learn. Like, for example, when I talk to youth, no matter how bad they are or no matter how deep they've gone, there's something I model to them that gives them room to want to listen. But you cannot be, you're living a double life. You're not a nice person. You're not a good person. I'm not saying that there is perfection, but of course there is evolving. You can evolve progressively, that there is a light in you that shines, that it shines in others. And with that,
Yes.
all of us may not hold the mic, all of us may not write books, all of us may not, but in our character, in our neighborhoods, in our community, our light can shine through us and to other people, and they become the change we want them to be. So
Perfect.
there is outreach,
Well
but then
said.
let us also invest in inreach. I just wanted to drop that. So yeah.
Fantastic. Could have
Yeah.
said it more better, right? That is perfect. Now, there's another thing here I want to mention, or the statistic I want you to comment on.
Okay.
The first one was 5 out of 10 teenage boys are interested in internet fraud. We trust that. 7 out of 10 teenage girls are involved in paid sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paid sex. 7. Like, you see 7 teenage girls out there, right?
Yeah.
Somehow, right? Some of them are involved in paid sex. I mean, where are we driving to?
Now, man is a tripartite being. I always say this. A tripartite being means that he's a spirit, he has a soul, and lives in a body, right?
Okay.
Based on the programming that you have been exposed to, either by upbringing, education, studies, and everything, it will determine to what extent and the things you're passionate about. So, as a man, you can either function in your lower self, which is your pleasures, addictions, cravings, or you function in your higher self.
Mhm.
A lot of these things that you see, so many young girls are so pleasure based, and pleasure can look like an iPhone, it can
Okay.
look like a hair, like people are doing threesomes, doing all kinds of things because they have been so fashion programmed to their lower selves. Because every human being is an energy bowl. You function at a certain level of vibration.
Mhm.
So your vibrations determines your choices, your environments, your associations. If you're someone who you're very nurturing, there's some like the kind of, you're someone who you invest a lot in your mind, you read a lot, you study, you discover that your vibrations, your energy, because man is energy and life is an energy exchange.
Sure.
So the things you partake in, the things you embrace, is a revealer or a pointer of whether you function in your higher self or your lower self, because we all have both, but we choose to invest more in one than the other.
Yeah.
Let me break it down. We all have negative and positive influences.
Sure.
Every human being has a dark side and a good side. It just depends on which you invest more. So you can be the devil to another person. You can invest so much consciously or subconsciously in bitterness, envy, greed, that when you see somebody kill somebody to take their bike, or you see a woman selling food and then she just cooks food without picking the beans or not in good
Mhm.
it's because she values money more than human health, more than human life. When you see a human being kill another human being, maybe for a phone, or kill another human being, it shows that they function to that level, their vibrations is that low. So when we see young girls indulge in these things, it's because they vibrate to that level, to that degree. Because life is vibration. All right. I don't know if I'm making sense. Because one
It
compliment I
definitely
always
makes
get about
sense.
you're talking, I don't want to talk something that I want to operate something that people understand.
No, people
So
definitely understand you. Yes.
okay,
Why shouldn't they understand you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So when we see young girls being part of casual sex, paid sex, and all of this, is because they think that their life is worth a phone, a car, a hair, but they don't understand that what they are made of and for is much, much more than those things. But how do they understand the language of value when they don't operate to the level of like their vibration is so low that all they think about is what to eat, sleep, and drink. You get, so that's the point. The point is our young
Mhm.
girls are involved in these things because that's the only realm they understand. It's fantasy, pleasure. I better chop today. Allow me to enjoy myself. And there is an
Mhm.
education. These things are happening in music, in movies, in films. Now to be kind is seen as weakness. To be vulnerable is seen as come off there, you weak thing. The
Mhm.
true things are seen as like the light. The weightier things are seen like the light things, and then the light things are now seen like the serious things. Oh, you see children are comparing their phones. I have an iPhone 15. I have, but they'll not say, do you have empathy? Are you kind? No, 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 no. So it is a function. What you're saying is a function of the level of vibrations that the young girls operate from. They don't know any better, so they can only live that reality. Yeah,
Oh, well said. Now we'll
yeah,
come back to this, right? But I want to, you
mm,
mentioned in your, I read your review, and
yeah,
there's something that a date with self. What
yeah.
is a date with self network?
Oh, that's my baby. It's a community that God entrusted me. It's a vision that God entrusted me with.
Okay.
I one of the in the quest of seeking to solve man's problems and humanity's problems, I discovered that there was this problem of lack of awareness of self. All
Okay.
of these things we're talking about is a self problem, and it's rooted in identity crisis, not understanding who you are. And why is this so? It's because from the time we are born, we are not raised to journey inward. We are raised to journey outward, pursuing everything except ourselves.
Mm,
Medicine,
yeah.
careers, marriage, we pursue, but we are not really consciously taught on how to pursue ourselves. If you walk down the road, you ask three people, who are you? A lot of them will not even know what to say. They don't know their personality types, they don't know their temperaments, they don't know their weaknesses. There's an exercise I do in my community. I'll tell you,
Mm-hmm.
write down 10 of your weaknesses, write down 10 of your strengths. Some people don't know. People don't know if they are phlegmatics, they are cholerics. And when you don't know who you are, you'll be a victim of your environment.
That is very true.
When you don't know what you're made of, you would go, everything will go and flow. And when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So until a man comes to the place where he knows who he is and what he has been made for, abuse is just going to be a natural consequence. So this community is just bringing back people to the basics. That look, it begins with self. What you don't know about yourself, it is definitely going to play out. You can only bargain, you can only be audacious enough to live to the degree of what you know about yourself. The reason why you decide to sleep with animals, the reason why you decide to do whatever for money is because you don't understand that there is something so much more. So this community, it's people register annually to be part of the community. You can join at any
Okay.
time. We have different programs, mentorship, there's coaching, personal mentorship. We read books. It's a balanced community. We are anchored on
Okay.
spirit, soul, and body. So we don't focus only on the body, neither do we focus only on the spirit aspect. We focus also on the soulish aspect, which is another. So we can talk about that for the whole day. So yes, that community means a lot to me. And we've been pushing, like I said, since that time, and we are still pushing, and we're building more people in this light, and we keep pushing. And yeah, thank you for that question.
Mhm.
I was not expecting the question, but thank you. Yeah,
No, you're welcome. Always
yeah,
welcome. Now,
yeah,
we have three principal arms that control us in our society that you
yeah.
must be bound to one. They have the government
Mm-hmm.
and they have their own
Yeah,
rules. Most people, the
true.
church, and they have their own rules. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the society is even playing any part anymore. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own rules. Now, I realize that all these three
Yeah,
arms, right, they have very conflicting rules to each other. Sometimes certain things that
yeah.
the church wants you to do, the government doesn't care about that. There are certain things that
Mm-hmm.
maybe the society will encourage you to do, but it's against the church, but the government doesn't care. There are things that the government wants you to do, is against the church. So if you find yourself in that situation, what do you do?
Now, I'm going to say that the only thing that lasts and that is truth is what God says.
Okay.
Right. The Bible is the final authority. The word of God is the final authority. We have seen things come and go, but God's word will remain. And when we talk about God, we talk about love. We talk about kindness. We talk about being your brother's keeper, because you cannot put your trust in the government. They would come up with policies. You have to, in short, the word of God is the final authority. Even with what the government is saying, Does it stand with what God's word say? Right?
Okay.
Because they can always come up with policies, with legislations that that doesn't really tie with who you are. I'm saying so because most times when we talk as Christians, as believers, as sons of God, people want to say things like, "Oh, down at church thing." But then I ask, what are the principles from God's word? They are universal. If truly you're walking in your sonship and the consciousness of who you are in Christ, it's one language, it's love, it's being your brother's keeper. So to me,
Exactly.
God's word be your final authority. It should not be what I said. So if I say something and you check in the gospel, in the word, and it's not there, don't bank on it, because I am human. I have limitations. I have weaknesses. I grow, and life is in season. I can say something today and change my mind in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But you see, God's the same yesterday, today, and
Today,
forever. It doesn't change.
well said.
So the word of God should be your final authority. Man will fail you, not can. I always tell my mentees, I am not your God. I give you principles, you run with them, because it is possible to call me one day and I'm sleeping. It's possible to call me someday and I'm on the trip, I'm traveling somewhere, I'm busy. But I give you something that is more lasting, so that with me or without me, you can always have a holistic life. Okay. So God's word in this case should be the final authority. Not man, not systems, not those systems is part of man, but it's God's word. Always God's word.
Okay. Now, the reason why I asked that question is to go to something, because
Okay.
this um people not knowing what to stand in, right, brings a lot of laissez-faire in our community. For
Yeah.
example, I think, or do you think the church, right, which somehow we all have a hand in it, or we are connected to one or the other, do you think the church is not doing more, or the
Mm.
church is complicit with the government in minimizing God's words in the society, and so much that our children no longer fear anything? They have the courage to do whatever, and after the church is no longer there to guide them, the government is there just to witness anything that's going on. So, do you think the church have to do more, or is doing less, or what is the role? How can the church intervene? Because the church still have a lot of big influence on the lives of our society. So, what can the church do more? Because I think they are not doing more to help these our children out there.
To be very honest, we have a growing rate of churches. But the question is, what is their theological construct?
Okay.
A lot of churches they have a pulpit, they have messages, but a lot of their messages don't build the lives of men. Look at our children even in the churches. What are they taught? What have they been taught? Instead, the question I am what I'm the knowledge of the word is what makes the difference. If you're just having a gathering of people that you don't even know, instead of pulling them, the pulpit is now instead putting them in the pit, because that's the issue we have now. A lot of I'm not against deliverance ministries and prophetic ministries and everything. The church has now, there's a whole chaos, right? So people even go to church, but they are not informed. It's not enough to go to church. It's not enough. The church has a wonderful role to play, and it's still playing that role. But a lot of churches are beginning to even change their direction. They are now focusing on the things that are not even important. Before, the church has always been a spiritual institute, a spiritual educational center. The church has a role to play. But a lot of these mega churches, the church in quotes, they have to start re-evaluating their priorities. They have to
Okay.
stop running the church like a business, like a personal business, a one-man show. The church is more community driven,
Good.
has to be more family driven, and not just being interested about making money and competition and private jets and show off, which those things are necessary. But far beyond that, that's not why Christ came. So who is the church? The church is you and I, who are sons of God, right? We have to ensure that where we fellowship, all these places we call churches, they stand for what Christ will stand for. Because a lot of things we are seeing now is a lot of churches, they are erecting buildings and stadiums and programs and conferences, but there is still no change, or the change is, the effect is not really much.
Yeah.
The church should continue echoing their voices with the right message, the right doctrine, the right teachings. It's not all about prosperity without a transformed mind, a renewed heart. What's the essence of having all the money when at the end of the day you're not transformed, you're not healed, you only bleed on other people? So yes, the church has to be community driven. The other day I went for a walk with my husband and I was saying something. We went to one neighborhood and we discovered the apostolic church, full gospel and everything. So my husband was telling me that back in the days when there is a new community, churches will
Mm-hmm.
just go buy lands in that community, right?
Okay.
Churches will open schools. Churches used to be so community driven before. They open healthcare centers. They will open,
Yeah.
but now we are getting to a place where it's like churches are more self-centered. It's more of a business. So churches now, I'm talking, of course, there are other churches, ministries are doing wonderful
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But a lot of them now they're doing it like a one-man show. They'll build houses, they build hotels, and then the essence of the gospel itself is not really propagated. So yes, the church has a role to play. I'm a youth leader myself in a church, in our local
Mm-hmm.
church, Christ Assembly. The church has a role to play, and it's a very big role, and we cannot underestimate the role of the church. So the church should not keep quiet, they should keep echoing their voices, but their foundations must not be faulty, because once the foundation is faulty, the people will perish.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that is true. That is true. They need to step up their game. Now, another group of
Yeah.
people that I want you to talk about, right? Like these young mothers, young women,
Yes.
mothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think because a lot of examples out there that these young mothers bring up their children in the light, now most of them will be led towards what we are talking about, right? In a laissez-faire
Yeah.
attitude. Because most of us that in our
Mm-hmm.
30s, most people in their 30s, right, they have these iron fist women that brought them up in the
Yeah.
light of God, brought them up in the light of
Yeah.
society, knowing right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But do you see that in this upcoming generation of mothers bringing up their children? Do they bring up their children in that light, or they want to expose their children out there to the vulnerabilities of the society and they don't really care, probably possibly in a form of showing off? So, what do you say about these young mothers today?
First, I'm going to say that I don't believe in accidents. I believe in divine orchestrations.
Okay.
Right. To say that the things we call single mothers and everything, it's not a predicament. It's just that your story is different. Most times, a lot of single mothers or young mothers, they just label themselves they shrink themselves, they limit themselves, they tag themselves to something that is so less than what they are worth. Right. You're just having a
Okay.
family dynamic that is not the obvious, that is not everywhere, but you're human. Right. What do I
Yeah.
mean by that? So please, this whole idea of I'm a single mom, I don't have, no, it's not an excuse. I know people who were raised by single mothers who turned out great. I know people who were even raised by both parents who did not turn out great. So you
Yeah.
have to start re-educating yourself and understand that it is not an accident, it's a divine orchestration. No matter how you put it, not everybody will be chanced to be raised in a balanced family dynamic where there is a father and a mother, and it's okay. It's very fine. Unless you know where life is all about what you want from life. If you want that to be a problem, it's definitely going to be a problem. Now, moving
Okay.
forward, um ideally the way God created things, every child needs both parents, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that it must be your husband, your no, no, no. You can see something in your child that you see that that child does not have, and then you reach out to somebody to mentor that child. It can be an uncle
Very
who is a
good.
model, it can be a pastor, it can be a neighbor, it can be, a lot of us, we had defining moments in our lives, not necessarily from our parents. It was maybe from a classmate, a friend, somebody that we saw that sparked something in us. I always talk about Father Sop. One of
Mm-hmm.
the first people who spoke into my destiny is Reverend Father Alexander Nugi Sop of blessed memory. He always told me that there was something different about me, but I never knew him. He was just my principal. So we
Mm-hmm.
can always outsource parenting in the sense that we can seek out help from uncles, relatives, and everything. And then we can also prayerfully pray and trust God that God will put people in the lives of our children that would start something in them. I remember the first time that the first person who ever called me spokeslady was Father Sop. I did not
And you
even
are
know what a
indeed a
spokeslady.
spokeslady.
You understand? That
Yes.
was how many years? That was so many years ago. But so let me say, because what parents don't understand is we are not superhumans. I am a mom. I have two boys. I may not know it all, I may not have it all, but I trust God in my praying and everything. I always pray for divine alignment, that God should position people in the lives of my children. It must not be great people, even if it's a taxi driver, people who will not
Good.
destroy the people who align them in the place of destiny.
Very good.
It could be a teacher, it could be a primary
Any
school teacher, just somebody,
yes. There's
anybody can
value
play that
in
role.
value in every person, anybody from anywhere, it doesn't matter.
Yes. So that aspect, because most times we raise our kids as though we are the ones who author their lives. No, it's God. You're just a steward. You're just a channel. You know. So we must be cognizant of that. Even sometimes, I put myself in that position where I get frustrated when my kids don't hit certain milestones and everything. And then God will always remind me that you are just a steward, you are just a channel. You have to look up to me to better manage these children, their lives. Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to say something, I lost it. But what you're asking is that what you're asking, it's important that everybody understands that no matter the circumstances in which you find yourself as an individual, something good can come out of it if you choose to. If you
Okay.
believe in it, it will definitely come out. I was talking to my mom the other day and I was telling her that all the dreams and the things I'm doing today, I was just one girl in my four somewhere in Limbe. I saw myself having a platform like the Oprah show. I saw myself having book clubs. It was just a young girl in my four. There was no book club. There has never been a book club in my four where I'm coming from. But I had
And
dreams that were global.
if
So,
anybody knows you, saw that dream in you, we all did,
oh,
right? Saw the
oh,
dream in you.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that ask anybody. They'll tell you the same
Okay.
thing. We also, people can see, and that is why people have the power to see in others. It's there. People can see your shine, your light, and everything. Most people will suppress it. Most people see
Yeah,
that vibrant energy, they want to suppress it. Most people in the world, they have that negative energy of wanting to suppress good, suppress that. And that's why
yeah,
we are in this world today where we cannot even make good things around us. Right.
that's
So,
true.
but we saw you, we saw that, okay, you have the power of your voice.
Yeah, the
Voice
power of
have power and strength, and that's it. And
thank
that,
you.
and now you mentioned something about father sub and mentorship, right?
Yeah.
Me growing up, there is no man in my life that I look up to.
Okay.
Understand? Yes, I did not see anybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody. If you check Cameroon, if you ask how many people in Cameroon, is there any man in Cameroon that you look up to? You want to be like this person. This person is showing. You will not get up to 10 in Cameroon.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
that's I did not have any man in my
Mm-hmm.
family that
Yeah.
would maybe okay, maybe my brothers, but how brothers are, right? They're just your
Yeah.
brothers. You're looking for
Yes,
something out
a
there.
prophet is not known in their own town.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was looking at who is this guy that is showing an example that I want to be. I not see anybody in
Yeah.
Cameroon. Right. I
Mm-hmm.
search myself, like
Yeah.
I look for my identity, myself. You mentioned identity, and this is
Mm-hmm.
who I want to be. And then I've
Yeah.
started my global agent stuff, started doing my
Yeah.
teaching and so on. It's within, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people need that mentorship. Now,
Yeah.
example, when I was a teacher in Cameroon, I
Yeah.
taught for about 5 years plus. I taught in
Yeah.
PGSS Limbe. Yeah, that was my first station.
Cool.
PGSS Limbe, PCSS Boya, PCSS
Mm-hmm.
Bonamusadi, and so one or two private schools out there part time.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I discovered something when you're teaching boys and girls.
Yeah.
Most of the boys are lost, not
Yeah.
because they want to be lost, but most of them are forgotten. I
Hmm.
realized that most boys will be stubborn in
Yeah.
class. They will
Mm-hmm.
do bad things in class because they are searching for something that no one is giving to them. They're looking
Giving them.
for themselves. It's not
Mm-hmm.
there. So most
Yeah.
of them will be going astray. So when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that most of my class, I began to get so close to the boys. Like,
Yeah.
how you doing, man? Greet them, what,
Mm-hmm.
pampering. Now, oh, the teacher have my attention. Because most of those attention used
Mm-hmm.
to go to the girls in class because the
Yeah.
girls seek
True.
for that attention more, right? So most
Yeah.
teachers ignore the boys.
That's true.
And then now, yeah. So I realized, no, let me try something because I don't want stubbornness in my class. I want people to concentrate. We have a lot to do in ICT and so on. I want people to
Yeah.
concentrate and let us hit our target. So I want these boys to
Yeah.
attend my class. They should not miss class because of any reason. So I started going closer
True.
to them. And then you see now, hey, this guy that will not attend class, but because the teacher will say something nice about me, they are coming.
Yeah. They are
They
coming.
are coming.
Yeah.
All of them are coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting quietly. They'll be asking questions in class, right? No, you have to do a game. You not as if you're pampering them all the same, but you have to
Yeah.
give and take, give and take, give
That's
and take before
leadership.
you realize.
That's
Yes, before you realize you have a class where they are tuned into you to get the best out of you, and then they're
yeah.
offering their best only to you
Yeah.
because you are tuning into them to get. I mean, you're making
Yeah.
them, you're activating them.
At home,
So
you're
that
making
is
them. Yeah.
exactly. So that is what
Mm-hmm.
we're missing in our society. We do not have boys. We do not have men that we look up to. Check all the men that are maybe in your family. Just check. I do not see it. And
Yeah.
a generation is almost passing out. We use, I would call it useless men out there that are not setting an example for people to follow.
Families, right? In the society, there's a lot of empowerment for the girl child.
A
Check
lot.
her out. A lot. Most foundation, like first of all, like in a date with self, is mostly women. 99% of those in a date with self. But the boy child is always neglected. They are not really communicated to. So what you're saying, that's a very big niche to invest in. The boy
Yes,
child,
they need it.
yeah.
Yes, they need it because they are looking for opportunities. They are looking for that touch. Maybe we ignore them that they don't need it. Maybe they're boys who want them to be strong and tough all the time. But some just tune them in a little bit. You must not be pampering them like how you do with some women, but just offer them something, they'll accept it.
And as a mom of boys, shockingly, what I notice is boys are more sensitive than girls.
Very
It's just
sensitive.
that it's just that they are tough nature. Maybe when we look at them physically, boys are more sensitive, and most women too say that, married women, that our husbands are very sensitive. But we've sold this narrative of women are emotional and everything, that we feel like boys don't have needs. They do. So what you're saying, it's something like, it's absolutely correct. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Now let's go back to the foundation, a date with myself.
Yeah.
I saw that you guys sponsor kids to school. Like how
Yeah.
do you do that?
We So we do it more in-house, because when we just started,
Okay.
we were always doing it outside. But I discovered that with most foundations, we reach out to people, whereas there are people among you that are struggling.
Okay.
So since our virtues and values is rooted in the word of God, we don't want to preach what we don't practice. So for the past years, we have successfully sponsored kids of, when I mean, it doesn't mean like children of the foundation necessarily. It could be a cousin, a relative, or we've had triplets, we've had kids where we were like, don't go and be giving people things outside when there are people in your quartier,
Yes.
people immediately beside you. Yes. And then one of our values too is we believe so much in discretion. We are not very public about help, because first, help is one of the our it's not our big pillars. Let me put it that way. So we don't put cameras in people's faces and give them an envelope and come and put them on social media and say, because 90% of the funds is from us, the members. That's the difference.
True.
Most times, when the money is from outsiders, maybe you need that accountability. But with the network, the reason why it's not we don't have anybody to prove to, because the money is coming from us. So at the level of leadership, we contribute our money. So let's say, for example, if I give 150,000 francs or 200 to pay children their fees in primary school, I don't have anybody outside to, we among us, we know that when we raise, let's say 500,000, we are taking care of 3 kids. Or, I don't know if it's making, so we are not operating like NGOs. Let me just put it that way. We
Okay.
don't operate like
Okay.
NGOs.
Yeah.
We are trusting God to bless us so that we can do an extension, at least for now. Maybe in the
Okay.
future, when we have larger, maybe much more kids and everything, we can seek external help. In short, the reason we did this is because we wanted to evaluate our motives. I do not want my network to be about money, because
Okay.
sometimes people say they want to help people, but what they are indirectly saying is they want to use means to take money from people to enrich themselves. I've seen a lot of NGOs where people will raise 100 million and use 60 million for people and use 40 million to buy cars. So with this approach, we question our motives. It tests our hearts, right?
Yeah.
There's no camera, there's no public appreciation, there is nothing. We just know that like last year, we bought books and pens and school materials and gave to children. The only third party that supported the initiative was my husband. There was
Okay.
nobody from outside. You see, so we don't
As
do
he should
fun
anyway.
as it should. Yes, we do not have any. external. So yes, we just, at the end of the day, we, since our values are rooted in Christ, we try to do everything to question our hearts, our motives. We don't want to be that platform where we're doing things for money, right? In short,
Yeah.
God has blessed us, blessed me, that most times when I want to do things for people, I don't even know how to ask money, because I just feel like it's because of my heart that God is blessing me. So I
Okay.
don't charge. Even though my team, people are like, oh, you need to start charging, because that's another thing to mentorship. It's difficult to mentor people. They don't take it seriously unless you ask them for money. Most things that are free when it comes to mentorship, you know, when you pay for school fees now, you pay for something, you take it
Yeah.
seriously. But most times, when you operate on the basis of love, concern, a lot of people take it for granted. They feel like maybe it's because you have so much time.
Mm-hmm.
So we are trying to work on a model where we can effectively charge, because we've had inconsistency. People will sign up for programs, they will not finish, they will not even do their
Mm-hmm.
assignments. So you will see 100 people sign up for something, but three, they are not up to three are not serious.
Okay, I have a
So we
question
are
for
really
you,
working.
but I'll take that question privately, right? It's something that I don't think it'll be appropriate for me to ask you that on here, but it'll be good. Okay, but now going back to what you said, right? When we're talking about women and child and children, I asked something
Yeah.
else, but you explained about single women. I was not really
Oh,
mentioning single women raising children,
okay.
but you trashed that
Okay.
already, so that's good. My question
Okay.
was the manner in which young women out there now raise their children.
Oh,
Yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes, yes.
yes,
Yes,
young women. Do they really, not even that they raise them in the fear of God? Most people fear God, understand, and they raise them in God's light. But do you think the way they expose their children, those people like the Gen Z way of raising a child, some children already create their children a Facebook account, for example, right? They post, not really post about the children, but the way they dress up their children, like it's very flamboyant, right? For a child that
yeah,
doesn't know anything, and then you're
yeah.
exposing the child out there. Some people, do you really think posting a child and exposing the child to insults, right? Growing
Mm-hmm.
up, if that child sees that thing tomorrow, do you think he'll be happy to you as a mother, right? That you expose me, mom, to things like this. I didn't even know because it has been happening. I didn't even know about this, but you're exposing me out there. Now I'm 15 or I'm 18 years old. Why did this person treat me like this? Because of the way you expose me out there. That's what I mean. That parents, these young parents out there, both boys and girls, the way they expose their children out there, is it a good thing? Will it really help the children, or you just give them a mindset of this is how life is supposed to be? And that is why we see people are already posting things out there. Any little thing you post, any little thing you post, any little thing you post and expose. So that's what I was trying to say.
Oh wow. So much for redirecting that question, because truly I completely missed out that point. The
Yes.
first thing I'm that too much of a thing, it's not good. Balance is always
Okay.
very. The question is, who are you learning your parenting from? What is your blueprint?
Good.
Anything that is done out of God, you definitely have chaos, or there'll obviously be a shock in ahead, right?
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is that, not to be judgmental or anything, but just always make sure that your motives and your why is rooted in Christ. If it's for show off, if it's for, first, of course, not everybody listening to us believes in God, but too much of a thing is not good. A child is supposed to be nourished, a child is supposed to be poured into, right?
Mhm.
Once the pouring we do as parents is lesser than what the world is doing, there's a problem and there's disaster ahead. So my point is, why are you posting the child? Why are you exposing the child? And what are the measures you're putting in place to protect that child? Now we have AI, we have all kinds of sex, what that people do videos
Yeah.
with children. I think there's a whole industry. We must question our motives. Parents, we should think long term. Everything is not money, because they'll tell you, oh, this child and everything. And I'm not talking about underestimating the gifts and talents of children and exposing them in their
Yeah.
gifts and everything. But it doesn't make any sense to expose a child that has not been trained, that is not ready, or we are not intentionally investing in ourselves, especially to help
Yeah.
build that child, to help orientate that child, to help them order their steps. Check very well. A lot of this is for superficial reasons, the ego, pride, it's not
Mhm.
substantial reason. And then another thing too, sometimes is ignorance, and ignorance is not an excuse of the consequences that will be
True.
faced. Because you're ignorant does not mean that you not face consequences. So please, what are your motives? What is your blueprint for raising kids? Think long term. Is this sustainable? Is this holistic? Right? The way the world is now, is this something that you'll be proud of in 5 years? And if your ignorance is not an excuse. So because most times when it comes to parenting, people become so defensive. They'll now start say, oh, you want to teach me how to raise my kids? You know, I have the right to wear their makeup and do everything.
Yes.
It's good. But the problem we have is that child, that the presence of that child is disastrous and can be polluting to our own kids or other kids out there. So yes, it's your child, but it's a child of everybody. Because if we are not infected, we're either affected. So we must put balance. We must question our motives all the time. We must invest in ourselves as parents. We must be ready to take detours. Because that's a problem with adults. Adults don't like taking detours. What is detours? Seeing that the direction you're taking is wrong and having the confidence and courage to take another direction.
Excellent.
So it's possible to discover that what you're doing has been wrong, and then you decide to make intentional choices that can help you reroute your life. Seasons change, people change. But when you change, what happens? What do you do? Right? So for that question, it all depends. I just want to talk to somebody, listen. Where are you right now? Why are you doing the things you're doing? And what is your blueprint? What is giving you the roadmap for your life? Because if it's just your feelings are not enough. They are fleeting, they change. You can feel like this, feel different in 6 months. So go for something that is more substantial and that will definitely stand the test of time. That is where the wisdom is.
That's very good.
In
Please
short,
like and
when something
Okay.
when something is even very good, do you just expose it? You nurture it. Those are the things we should be telling ourselves. When something is really good, look at, for example, when you're building a house, the first thing they do is they put a fence around. They don't want people to see what you're doing. Right? They
Sure.
do some kind of enclosure. So that's the thing. Even if you discover that your child is very talented and gifted, the best thing to do is not to just throw them out there in the bush, because out there is
Very
a whole
correct.
jungle. There is the bad and the ugly. So if you truly love something, seek for ways to protect it. It's very important.
Good. Preserve it too.
Yeah, preserve it.
Very good.
Preserve it. And because people are counseling does not mean that they are judging you, because that's a new thing now in this generation. Oh, you're judging me.
Exactly.
Oh, you want to tell me. People use that word in all kinds of angles.
Okay. Please like, subscribe, and share, right? Just share or tap your screen and like, please. Keep liking so that more people can watch this. Now, the last segment of this, we are speaking more about societal life and so on. Now, the last segment of this, I'll tie it down to the economy, right? About the
Okay.
cyber crime and the digital hustle. Now,
Yeah.
this thing is affecting all of us because
Oh,
all the
yeah.
money gain is affecting all of us. That's one thing that people fail to understand. If you think you're not involved directly, check how you're involved indirectly into something.
Oh,
Then you
yes.
know
Oh,
how
yeah.
to battle it because somehow we are all involved. There's massive inflation in the economy. What do you think is
Yeah.
causing that? No goods is going out, the money is coming in. You get that? That brings a lot of inflation. So now,
Yeah.
cyber crime and digital hustle, right? What do you have to say about our young boys? Back to the statistics where young boys, about 5 out of 10, right, are
Yeah.
involved in cyber crime. Now, I noticed that most of these boys are the hardest working boys because I did cyber security, so I understand what it means to involve in cyber crime. Most of these boys
Yeah.
are very, very hardworking. Some of them do not
Yes.
sleep at night. Like
Mm.
they work more than 8 hours a day, 12 hours, which
Yeah.
means they are working for the wrong side.
Yeah.
They still put in the work, but they're doing it for the wrong side. And then when the money comes in, they pump in inflation now in the economy. So what things can you suggest? How do you think we can help young people, right? Because most of them want to leave. It's not like they are proud of what they're
Yeah.
doing, but they really don't have a
Mm-hmm.
choice. And because when you're involved in bad habit, right, every day, you become addicted to something. But deep inside them, they really don't want to be there. If you offer them something else that's going to change or switch. So what do you have to say about those people, or what can you suggest to them?
The first thing I'm going to say is that there is something called the deception of youthfulness. You're not going to be a youth forever. So you must be very careful of the decisions you're making today, because
Okay.
the decisions you're making today will influence your tomorrow.
As a youth.
What
Good.
you have now as a What you have now and all you see is not all that there is to life. All those things you're chasing, there is a higher life. It's simple. Be a student of those around you. Look at
Mm-hmm.
how far. Look at all those names we heard growing up. All those fame men in quotes. Those dealers. How did it
Yes.
end? The end is disastrous. Now it's pointless making money, being out there and everything, but not being at home with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see a lot of them. They're into drugs. They take very heavy drugs to sleep because their conscience is haunting them. They're on
Good.
pills. They engage in things that are not healthy. The Bible says, what will it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? It's as simple as that. If you have everything and lose yourself, it's pointless. The path you are on is a destructive path. There's nothing else to say. There's no better way to say it. It doesn't end well. It always self-destructs and it self-sabotages. So the decisions you're making today, believe me, you will reap the fruits of those decisions tomorrow. We schooled in Boya. You know the way Boya is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are inflating their now mini cities in Boya, they are very expensive. I see all kinds of bars, all kinds of lounges because well, the scammers, you see students are renting hostels for millions a month and everything. But there is life, there is a higher life. It's bigger than the flesh. I'm not trying to be spiritual here because most times people forget. They'll say, leave that in and that one, God in there. No, 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 no. If it
Mm-hmm.
be then and that one, God, you will not be taking very heavy drugs and alcohol to sleep because your conscience will haunt you so much that when you are with yourself, you're the devil and you don't want to face that aspect of yourself. That's why you have to hold on to drugs and pills and all kinds of things to fill a void only God can fill. Look at
Mm-hmm.
them. They are very empty. When you see a scammer on the street, you don't need the Holy Spirit to discern. They are like prostitutes. We have to tell ourselves the truth. They are so empty that their soul is empty. When you look at
True.
them, when you look at the prostitute, even if she puts on a kaba, if when a prostitute covers all her face, look at her eyes, she's lifeless. Because there is a way that you give yourself so much to your lower self that you become a stranger in your own self.
That's
Now they are
true.
now having cults, they are now having circles to protect themselves and everything. It's getting deeper and deeper. You cannot live
Mm-hmm.
alone. You're now with your friends and everything. I want to ask you this question. To what extent do you think you can sustain this? How much can you eat and how much can you drink? How many cars can you drive? How many houses can you live in at the same time? There is so much more. Your problem is your mindset is working against you. You have adopted and accepted a mindset that is destructive, that has made you believe that money is everything. Money is not everything. Oh, yes, we have seen very wealthy people lose their lives in hospital. They had all the money, but their money could not buy life.
Mm-hmm.
Money cannot buy your conscience. You're living a fake life. You're living a double life. You're not true because you are scared that every time people can come and pick you up. You know, you're a criminal. You think you're free, but you're in chains. So I just want to encourage young boys. That part is destructive. God did not create you for that. You're made for more and of a better fabric and substance. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to me, work on your mindset because what you don't have in here, what you don't see, you cannot walk in until you
Yeah.
see yourself as a changed person, as a better person, as someone who can have these things you're trying to have by all costs the wrong way. You can have it effortlessly the right way. I don't know if you
Exactly.
can pin this. There's this thing that you're trying to you're in short, some of you are even selling your parents, selling your siblings. You can have it effortlessly the right way with less energy, less stress, with not selling your conscience and everything. So please, if you're a young boy listening to me, the reason you are made for more is so you can do more exploits. This path you are taking, this path you are on, it is not late to take a detour, to make a U-turn, to rewrite your story. In short, this part of your story is important so that you can come out here and talk to other young people and tell them that this thing is fleeting. It's not a good life. You know, there is around where we live, there is a mini city that has them, a lot of them. The other day I was
Mm-hmm.
going to the market, I saw police cars entering, gendarmes and everything,
See?
and they were running all over. You get, you don't want to live your life as a stranger. I don't know if you can pin this. At any point, you're scared you can die, you can go to prison, you can go.
Mm-hmm.
It is costly. Your peace is worth more than everything. And if you think that more, the value of your life is money, I'm sorry. That's why you see them dying like rats, accidents here and there, Because let me tell you, life is principles. Anything you sow, you shall reap. You cannot you cannot invest your wealth on the tears of men and think that you will go free. It takes only the grace of God.
Yeah.
Because everybody doing it does not make it right. You can do your own today and it will be your end. You can do your
Mm-hmm.
own and the mercy of God will not be able to speak on your behalf. So the
Sure.
earlier you route, the better for you. We are saying this from a place of love to tell you that there is so much abundance in the world. There is so much abundance around you that all you seek is possible to achieve. Only if, let's even forget God, if you can only apply the principle of seed time and harvest time,
Mm-hmm.
if you sow, you will reap. This thing is not about if you sow, if you dig the soil and put in something, you will reap. So that thing
Sure.
that seems like a myth, that seems like it's a scheme that you must have it at all costs. It's not worth it because your life, the only reason you're even walking in that error is because God has entrusted you with a gift of life. It takes a second for you to lose it. I'm very passionate about this particular thing. I can talk, but it's
No,
sad.
take your time. You
It's
have
so
the time.
it, it's so sad when we see our young boys so gifted. The efforts they put in for the wrong thing, it's sickening. If you put just 2 hours consistently into something, the problem is, like I said, they want the cars, they want all these things, you would have it. Like I said, all those names we knew growing up, all those dealers, where are they today? Where are they? So this thing, that this path you're journeying on, the end is not good. No, but it is not good. And anything you sow in this life, you will reap it. Yes, there's a grace of God, but there is no guarantee, right? So
Mm-hmm.
please, our young boys, you can do this. You can change your mindset. You can invest in yourself. You can. Let nobody deceive you. You don't need to go to a babalao or to a native doctor to empower you. What you're seeking for outside, you have it abundantly within you. God is
Sure.
your source, and your source is limitless. You are a God. You're made in His image and likeness. You have what it takes to explore every possibility that this life brings. So
True.
don't limit yourself to your senses, because all you see in this life is not all there is. There is so much more. Yeah,
That's
I'll
true.
end there. There's so much. There's so much more.
Thank you very much, Madam, for this powerful message you're giving to us out there, right? But before we go, there's one thing that I want you to mention, or I want us to mention. In our society out there, do you really think we are not appreciating those that are doing the good work enough? Like all the attention out there is on the negative or the bad people, right? For example,
Yeah.
let me put it this way. Back then when I was in school, right, those students who usually are the first in class, or those students that are usually first five, right? Do you really think they
Yeah.
appreciate people like that? That will come out with good example. This our society really appreciating them to encourage that this path you are on is the right path, follow it up, and we'll see through the end. But anybody that does a little negative thing, all the attention, I know attention is attention, whether negative or positive.
Uh,
If you
Currency. Yeah.
exactly.
Attention
So do
is
you really
currency.
think, yeah. So what do you think? Do you think we are not appreciating those people that are trying to do something out there enough?
The truth is, a negativity sells.
Okay.
Bad news, it sells. One thing I discovered about life is, people love negativity, people love drama, people. And the reason why, like we said in the beginning, the reason why negativity sells is because those who have the light, they are shrinking, they are not bold enough, they are timid. Do you know why negativity sells? Because negativity is bold, negativity is loud. You
True.
understand?
Yeah.
If there is darkness in a place, you want to bring in light, you'll not bring a candle, you not bring a
Mm-hmm.
torch, you bring something that has a greater
I will
capacity
match it
and weight
or greater.
to match it. So when we have good people, people who are supposed to be an example and everything, they are behind, they are holding back. What do we expect? Negativity sells. Go on social media. the things that sell. There was a particular time I went online, the algorithm, right? There was this
Mm-hmm.
lady, it's like she went on, she was showing only her private part, and everybody was talking about it. So I just opened my Facebook. I'm seeing everybody's like, oh, this girl just came online. She's already having how many millions of followers, you know.
Viewers.
And I was like, but who are those pushing this thing? I discovered that it's people, and it's the same for the porn industry and all these industries. You don't see when people are supporting it, but you hear that they are mega billion industries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man has a corrupt side. We're incorruptible, yes, but we have a corrupt side. So once you have not groomed yourself, you can become animalistic, which is
Mm-hmm.
towards that negative side, right? Negativity sells, and it's so sad. That is why I am always advocating for platforms like this. See, I can talk from now to tomorrow. I just need to be invited, and I'm going and I'm talking
Sure.
any
And you get
place,
more
any state,
invites.
and I always talk, right?
Yes.
Good people who have the right direction, the principles and everything, they have to keep talking unapologetically, and they should not be compromised. You know, one day I was having a conversation with a friend. I'm going to give this example because it's a very popular example.
Mm-hmm.
And I told that friend, what is making very dark man notorious? Imagine if Nigeria had 10 of very dark man. I don't know if you know very dark man.
I know it. I know. I mean,
A lot of people who have a voice, they are not audacious enough. I have seen that in this life. To match abnormality, you have to be abnormal. People don't like
especially in
simple.
Cameroon.
Ah, to have
Especially
a
in Cameroon.
voice, yes, you must be consistent. A lot of you are saying something today, tomorrow you're saying. A lot of good people too are compromised. When they will say something, they'll stand for something. When they give them some money, they slide some checks, they buy them cars, they keep quiet. They buy their consciences. That's the reason why premature exposure is dangerous. Most times people pray for platforms, but they don't know that what they should be praying for is their character. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I always tell people, as I'm talking like this, after this call, you can send me 10 million francs. Right. The
Mm-hmm.
question is, let the 10 million meet me ready. Because if that 10 million does not meet me ready, that 10 million
Mm-hmm.
will destroy me. I'll use that 10 million to destroy more lives. So a lot of people in the past, it was not enough to be good. They were not rooted enough not to be compromised. Once you can be compromised, you don't have, because your voice can be silenced.
Excellent.
So the point is not about gaining platforms, reaching out to people. The question is, can you be compromised? We know a lot of names, a lot of people, the government. They started well with activism. They were talking for the people. They bought them houses. They gave them hectares of lands in villages and everything. And we've not, you get it.
Some of
So
them are
a
made
negative person,
mayors.
they are made mayors. They are given posts of responsibility. A
Yeah.
negative person does not need to compromise because he's already negative. He's already pushing an agenda. But it's not enough to be good. Are you rooted enough that you're unchanging? Because I've had the situations like that. You write a post, like I write articles, I write a lot. People come and write to you, they'll come and tell you behind, oh, take down this thing, don't talk about this thing. Why? I keep pushing. And look at our views. Even the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm is not in our favor. The views are
Yeah.
low, the shares are low, but you have to keep talking, you have to keep going. We are not paid. I'm not making money from Facebook.
Sure.
I don't. But it's a platform that I use to change lives out there.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people want to compromise. So these people the good people are not good enough. They are not consistent enough. They are not true enough. I believe that the reason I give the example of very dark man is to say that if you look at a nation with so many people like Nigeria, and you can count an individual like that, it takes a level of audacity.
I'm telling you.
It takes a level of audacity. Sometimes I'm like, this guy, like his mom, like he's really special, is rare in Africa, because there are some people that want to say something, they're afraid that they can die, or they'll send threats to your home, they'll start talking about your kids, but he doesn't care. I don't know, he doesn't care. He will talk about the government, he will talk about. So you must get to that point where you know that you're rooted enough that you cannot be compromised. The good people have to keep shining their lights. If they don't shine their lights, darkness will always overcome. It will always cover the whole place. Yeah. Let me drink water.
Wonderfully said, Madam Brenda Paul Mbua. What a guest. Marvelous.
Thank you.
I am so,
Thank
so
you.
blessed, yes, to have you here. I will continue to have you here as the year goes by, understand? We'll come out with other shows and invite you. And I want a situation where it will be more than 4 or 5 of us, not just two, but I'll
Okay.
invite other loud voices out there so that we can talk on something,
That'll be,
similar topics like this, and
yeah.
then we help our society grow and then just put it out there.
Yeah.
Understand? That
Yeah.
is very good. And I always do live, I don't want to be doing pre-records, but either forms we're
Yeah.
still good to go. Yeah, so I really, really appreciate you coming today to give us an insight on all
Thank
these
you.
things we mentioned. The statistics I read out earlier, they are from the United Nations, and it's not just made up statistics from all the
Yeah.
organization. UNICEF, it's from UNICEF, Interpol's, ECOWAS, and so on, right? Big statistics out
Wow.
there. So take it serious. You need to do a lot to help your children out there, right? This world is not
Yeah.
easy. There are a lot of business. Cameroon is still very raw. Cameroon is still almost a virgin country in terms of
Tap.
everything. We are
Yeah.
so there are a lot of
True.
opportunity to explore in Cameroon, especially business-wise, right? Or channel all that energy you are doing for malicious activities and turn it into a positive thing
Yeah.
for your community and society. Channel it. There's a lot to be done in
Yeah.
Cameroon, and that's why we have global
Yeah.
agent who will help you develop your business. We are going to do everything for you. Create your information system. Anything you do is important. One of the highest thing, right? If you notice, Madam, you've traveled out of the country, you know
Yeah.
most things that you see in Cameroon and you minimize, the day you set foot out of the country, you'll be shocked. Those are the same things other countries maximize,
Yeah.
and then you envy them. But
Yeah.
you don't have the knowledge. I will not blame you. You don't have the knowledge in Cameroon
Yeah.
somehow, right? But you need to travel, you need to explore other things, direct positive
Yeah.
energy to yourself and get towards your life goals and start doing that thing you want to start to do. Start doing it today. Start today. Build that thing today. And before you realize, before 40 years, you have an empire. Everybody started small. So we have listened to Madam Brenda and what
Mm.
she had to tell us today, and it was very, very rich and impactful. Thank you very much. God continue to bless you, and we'll
Thank
have you some other time. And thank you, thank you, thank you,
you. Amen.
thank you, thank you. I don't have much comments to read, but everyone just say, God love my people from Larry. Much love to Larry. Much love to Madam Linda. And much love
Thank
to
you.
Global Agent. And so, let me read out your social media platforms, right? You can
Okay.
follow her on Brenda Paul Mbua and
Yeah.
Brenda Kimbi Official. You can follow her there. You
Yeah.
check her. She's a life coach,
Yeah.
a lot of women. She's a life coach. Understand? So I'm sure she has a website and everything that we can.
Most definitely.
Okay, she have a
You
website
can
and
sign
everything.
up
So
there.
excellent. Thank you very much. God bless you. We'll continue to have you some other time. Stay tuned. All right.
And you to be encouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm rooting for you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you next time. For the next episode, we are going to be talking about football. We'll be having a guest to talk about why Cameroon, since the ancient time, why Cameroon haven't won the World Cup. That'll be in our next discussion. Why Africa or Cameroon haven't won the World Cup. We'll be breaking down things. Why Cameroon and Africa haven't won the World Cup. We think we are 20 years late of winning the World Cup. So we'll be breaking that down with some football experts and analysts. Stay tuned. Global Agent Connect. I will connect you.